Welcome back to Tommy's Turf Talks. Today's episode is brought to you by Fake Farms High Protein Bull's Milk. Remember, you ain't gonna make the gains unless you use the original High Protein Bull's Milk from Fake Farms USA. I'd also like to wish everybody a happy 4th of July out there. I know it's one of the best holidays for us dads. We get to sit outside, admire our lawn, drink beer, grill meats. What a fantastic day. Now, on today's episode, we're going to be talking about crabgrass. It's a problematic weed up here in Minnesota that everyone deals with year after year. We're going to talk about how to identify crabgrass, how to discern it from one weed to the other. We're going to talk about how the best ways of using preventative control for your crabgrass, and then also how to treat it once it's already out on our lawns. All right, let's get going. All right, so crabgrass usually starts to appear around late June, early July, depending on the weather. When it first pops through, it's going to be this short, fat, lime green blade that you see here along the curb line. If you're seeing other grass types that are popping through in early April, May, most likely you're dealing with tall fescue, quackgrass. We'll go ahead and take some pictures of those and identify.
There are a couple grass weeds that are commonly mistaken for crabgrass. The first and most common is quackgrass. Quackgrass is a cool season perennial weed. It tends to grow quicker and taller than the rest of your turf grass and can be a darker shade of green. It spreads through its rhizome root system and can spread quickly throughout the lawn. It can easily be identified by its clasping auricle that wraps around the stem. If you are seeing a grass weed in your lawn in the springtime and think you may have crabgrass, then it is most likely quackgrass. The second most common weed often mistaken for crabgrass is tall fescue or clumping fescue. Tall fescue can be a desirable turf grass or considered a weed based on the desired landscape and maintenance practices. It is a cool season perennial grass that tends to grow in clumps instead of spreading out. It can be identified by its coarse texture, dark green color, and unlike quackgrass's clasping auricle, tall fescue has a blunt, non-clasping auricle. As I've said, crabgrass is most easily identified in its juvenile stage when it appears as short, wide, lime green blades, and it has a smooth texture. Unlike quackgrass and tall fescue, crabgrass is a warm season annual grass weed. It is easiest to control in its early stages. Once it reaches its fourth tiller stage, it can be more difficult to eradicate. As it matures, it will turn a dark green color and lay flat, with a reddish purple color at the center. It can be controlled with pre-emergents that need to be put down before germination, or with post-emergents that will be applied after the weed has emerged from the soil. That is what we will focus on in today's video.
All right, so for the post-emergent control for crabgrass, the main ingredient in mostly all the chemicals that you'll see out there is going to be quinclorac. This is the chemical that controls crabgrass, along with a handful of other types of grass weeds. Drive is the trade name for a BASF quinclorac-based herbicide that will take care of your crabgrass problems. Quinway 75DF and Quinway Ultra are both trade names of a Lesco quinclorac-based product that will do the same thing as Drive. These are both going to be applied using a backpack. However, in its current form, one is liquid. The Quinway Ultra is liquid. The Quinway 75DF is a granular that's going to dissolve in water. Q4 is a PBI Gordon product. It has quinclorac, sulfentrazone, 2,4-D, and dicamba as its active ingredients. This means that it can go after both grass and broadleaf weeds. This is a great option for people that want to use only one chemical for all the weeds in their lawn. Now, it is a bit more expensive, and it does have a higher usage rate than the other quinclorac-based herbicides, but it is a great chemical, takes care of all the weeds in your lawn, well worth the price if you want to go that route.
Methylated seed oil is a surfactant that can be added to quinclorac-based herbicides to increase the efficacy of that herbicide. This product works best during that third and fourth tiller stage of the crabgrass plant when it's more difficult to control with herbicides. All right, so now for the most important part. How do we mix and apply one of these chemicals to control our crabgrass? For both the liquid and the dry products, you're going to need to mix them in with water at the appropriate rates according to the label to either a 4-gallon backpack, a pull behind sprayer, 1 gallon or 2 gallon spray cans, whatever you may use. The application rate is going to be determined on how quickly the water is coming out of whatever you choose to use to apply the product. So you're going to want to calibrate whatever you're using. I'm going to go over calibration of equipment on another video later on, but I already have calibrated this backpack, and I know that 1 gallon of water equates to about 1,000 square feet. After reading the labels of all these products, I now know how much chemical to apply per 1,000 square feet. That's how it's always going to be labeled. It's not going to be labeled as ounces per gallon because it always depends on how you're applying the product. So today I'm going to be using Q4 because I want to take care of both my broadleaf and my crabgrass weeds. The application rate for this product is 3 ounces per 1,000 square foot. I know this backpack, a 4-gallon backpack, 1 gallon equates to 1,000 square feet. So I'm going to need 12 ounces of Q4 to go into 4 gallons of water. I've got a measuring cup here. I've already filled this backpack with water. It's a good idea to always fill with water first and then apply the herbicides into it because a lot of herbicides do tend to foam up, and it's just easier if you apply the water first. You won't have a foaming problem. All right, so this one's good to go. I'm going to go ahead and give it a good shake to mix up that chemical. And then we'll go ahead and go spray some weeds. Okay, so you may have noticed while I was mixing the chemical in the backpack, I was not wearing the proper PPE for this chemical. I had sandals on, shorts on, and no gloves. It is a good idea to always follow the label and wear the proper PPE. I have put on shoes now. I put on gloves. The purpose of this video, I wasn't too concerned about it. I'm still wearing shorts because I'm not going to be spraying my whole lawn. But when you do apply these chemicals, if you're applying herbicides or insecticides, make sure you're following the label and wearing the proper PPE equipment. Now, on this backpack here, I've got a fan nozzle. Those are the ones that I typically use. They tend to spread the spray out more. You can spray more weeds in a shorter period of time, and it doesn't run the risk of getting too much down in any one spot. So for this backpack, it's a pump backpack. So I'm going to need to constantly pump it to keep my pressure up. There are battery options out there which are much nicer. You don't have to tire out your arm, and you don't have to constantly stop to pump to get more pressure up. How you're going to use this is you're just going to pump it up, build up the pressure, and walk your lawn. When you see a weed, you're going to come up to it. You're going to lightly spray it back and forth a few times, like kind of be like you're painting a house. And that's it. Move on to the next one. As you walk through, spray, paint, move on to the next one. It's really all there is to it. It's nice and easy. If you got the right equipment, the right chemical, you can take care of any weed in your lawn. With the stuff I have in here, Q4, I'll be able to spray both my grass weeds and my broadleaves. Well, that's a wrap for this episode of Tommy's Turf Talks. I hope you all enjoyed all this good information on crabgrass. If you have any questions, be sure to leave it down in the comments section there, and I can try to answer them for you. And to all you lawn dads out there, keep your mower blades sharp and your grass always growing. I hope you all have a happy, safe, and great 4th of July out there with your friends and family. I know I'm going to.